Fits nicely with your
It does. I was thinking the same thing. Very chill, but
Yep,
also
I'm in a weird mood with my music. So I just that one was called If All Feels Right by Washed Out. I was gonna be funny and do Good Luck by Washed Out, but I thought no one would get the subtext of that, so I decided not
yeah.
to.
But this morning
Hello.
in my intro drawing class, for whatever reason, the music I decided to play was like old 1960s psychedelic music. So this
Yep.
was just kind of in the same vein. But hi everyone.
Hello, people.
We're wrapping up week 3. Yeah. I had to think about it. Man, this semester, it's for the first time in a while, feels like it's going by very quickly for me. I don't know if you're having the same issue. It's been a while since that's the case. They've been feeling like they're just dragging, but this one feels like how are we already on week 3?
I'm teaching 17 hours, Jason. I don't even know what day we're in.
Yeah, I get it.
We're in week 3, allegedly, according to what Jason just said.
Yeah.
Um, this is the weekly wrap up video. We really should make a jingle, like the
Yeah.
weekly. Um,
Did you see? Because we had talked in the week 1 video, we had talked about like we need a jingle, and you didn't play any music on that one. So I was like, I need something that starts this off. So I don't know if you saw it, but I made like a very 80s opening.
you did.
And that felt right. I was like, okay, there we go.
You take the good, you take the bad. You take this class, and there you have an existential crisis.
It's
Sorry.
the weekly wrap up.
Yeah. So, guys, you have two things going on this week, all right? In this lovely week 3,
Yeah.
you have the creative project contract that you need to make sure that you have completed and submitted before 11 p.m. on Sunday. Several of you have contacted us either individually or together. Could you do me a favor and like say who you are? I don't mean that in a mean way, but
Yeah.
there's 66 of you. So, the pictures too on Google Classroom that give me an idea of who you are, as well as the pictures that are on the rosters that I print out, which you didn't see because I'm trying to protect people's identities. But I promise I have rosters right here.
Uh,
They don't really tell us
yeah. They don't
like,
always look like you.
yeah, they're like in that happy time, or maybe that not happy time when you were showing up for freshman O and you got your ID card made. So you
Yeah.
look different.
Or
Some
if
of you
it's
look a little battle weary, like you've
yeah.
seen some shit. Some of you have come into your glow up phase. Not that I'm saying you weren't glowing before,
Yeah.
very important. But yeah, it's real.
And then on Google Classroom, the image is only like yay big. And even if you click on it, it like is that big. And many of you, it's your own like personal photograph, a selfie that you took. And so sometimes those are very artistic. And I'm like, I still don't know what you look like.
Or it could just be a meme. I think I saw one of you
Mhm.
had a really funny meme, and I'm like, good on you.
Yeah.
So maybe just we're old ish. He's older than I am. He just had a birthday, by the way. So make sure
Yes,
if you
I
see
did.
him, wish him a happy birthday. Um, I am not born in the winter, so you won't ever see me, hopefully, when it's my birthday. Uh, maybe just tell us who you are.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of you guys have been asking us questions. Keep them up. I don't know who has scared you or who has hurt you to where you feel like we're gonna say no to your idea. But just give us whatever information we need to know on the
Yeah.
creative contract, and we should not have issues. And like, you know what I mean? Like, we're not gonna reject it. There's only a few small times where we might be like, you might want to consider something else.
Yeah. The worst you'll get from us will be clarification
Yep.
questions. It'll be like, hey, I don't know if I quite understand from what I'm reading. what you're talking about doing here. If you can give me a clarification, then we can go ahead and just push this through and you'll have your points. Um,
Like, I can't tell, are you talking about you're going to take pictures or you're
yeah.
going to, do whatever? Now with the advent of AI, by the way,
Uh,
we
yeah.
should probably have a conversation with you if you plan on using AI to create your art.
Yeah, because we will need to, that would need to be very clearly disclosed.
Well, and we have to give you the legal discussion too.
Mhm.
So, for example, if you're planning on using an image that already exists, someone else's art, if you decide that you're going to like doctor that photo to work more for your vision or whatever, but you're the one who's doing it, then you're involved in the process that becomes like your intellectual property, if that makes
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you were inspired by, you use the original image and then you do new things to it. It becomes like new things. But with AI, a lot of people are getting into trouble because they're just taking images that exist and then let the computer do it. You're
Yeah.
still not the one doing the creating.
In fact, the lawsuit, I, 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 I knew it was coming eventually. The
Yeah.
lawsuit has finally been filed, um, where it's like a class action thing where artists are saying it's the, the whole AI thing is just pure copyright infringement. Um, Claiming that uh, it is not transformative enough, and that the AI trains itself on all these images of other artists' work that are on the internet. And the claim is like you did not have permission to do that, and so it could very well soon be an even more legally dubious position to use AI. I don't know. We'll see. I'm curious how it's going to go.
But that is like, we're not trying to say you can't.
Yeah.
We need you to talk to us, because both of us are kind of media savvy. We're familiar, like as he just said, the lawsuit's coming out. I'm following it from an ethics standpoint with media ethics and law. That there's some really interesting discussions happening with it. So it would be in your best interest to just talk to us. And very rarely have we ever said no, you can't do that. Most of the time when we see creative projects, it's because students didn't really fill them out. They just said, I'm going to draw on paper with pencils.
Uh-huh.
And we're like, okay, what are you going to draw? Like, what you need to give us details. And don't feel, by the way, that you're stuck in that particular thing that you said now when you start getting to it. Because as you and I both know, Jason, there's like this beautiful thing that's in your head.
Yeah.
And then when it comes time to commit that idea from the abstract realm into like the tertiary realm, like it changes, it evolves, like there's differences. We will help you with that process. We just need you to kind of give us a ballpark of what you're thinking about. And as I've told a couple of students, like, what was the first thing you thought of when you heard this was coming up? Chase that idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Dog it. Like, chase the fox out of the hole, because that be your subconscious telling you like, this is it, this is where you need to go. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I even when it comes to the art majors in their final semester working on their senior thesis project, the first thing I always say to them at the very beginning of the semester is, "What is it you feel like you need to be making right now?" And whatever their answer is, it's like, "All right, build from there."
Yeah, there's like there's a little voice that tells you these things, and like I think too frequently we don't like trust that voice, and yet that voice is like the moment where
Mm-hmm.
it's trusting in your abilities. It's like, hey, this is something that's within your wheelhouse. You could totally do it. And oftentimes it's the same thing with tests. Like, you guys second guess yourself on tests. You're like, damn it, I knew that was the right answer. Why did I do that? This is the same thing. Like, you know yourself. It's weird. Do you know yourself? We're gonna get in this later when we get to psychology, but like, you know yourself, yet you deny that you know yourself. So that little voice is like, let me help you, and you're like, I don't know you. That's not my purse. Like, like. So anyway.
uh,
That's it for the creative project. You also
yeah.
have a quiz, the first quiz of the semester. Dun, 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 dun.
Yep. Which by the time you're watching this is probably already opened. For us, it's going to be about 30-ish minutes when that opens up. Uh, it will open up for you today. This is Thursday, the 26th of January at noon, and it will close and accept no further submissions at midnight. I'm sorry, no, not at midnight, at 11 p.m. on Sunday night. I don't know why I'm saying midnight. I think I have another thing that's due on midnight for a different class. Um, it Do not freak yourself out about this quiz. It is a 10-question, 10-point quiz that covers the material you have gotten in these first 3 weeks of the semester. We design it as if we were in the classroom where you would have about 15 minutes to take the quiz. So it's designed to be just that quick. If you're stressing yourself out about it, please don't, right? Study up. Neither of us can absolutely force you not to Google stuff, but we would prefer you did not. You have the lectures, you have the lecture slides, you have notes and things of that nature. And you're welcome to pull from any of that while you're working. And in fact, oftentimes the two of us have questions that we, at least to the best of our ability, we try to Google proof, either by including answers that the kinds of wrong answers that Google gives you, or sometimes I like to make the question where it's difficult to Google, or at least if you're going to be Googling, you're going to be doing it for a long time, because it would be so much simpler to just like go to your notes instead. But you'll once you do sit down to take it, there have been a couple people who've asked about this. There's no time limit. It's not as if you only get that 15 minutes and then it like stops for you. You take as long as you need to take on it, but you do need to do it in one sitting. So you want to make sure you've got the time to do that when you do sit down with it.
And I need to warn you guys about what's been happening with Bethel Internet, particularly on Sundays. I'm not saying this to be mean, but like Sunday nights, everyone is like, the people are in study hall, people are streaming, they're watching TV, they're like, they got 3 different devices connected to the internet at one time. The bandwidth just like goes kaput. So please, it closes at exactly 11 p.m. on Sunday.
Yeah.
So you need to try and give yourself plenty of time to account for the spinning circle of death. When you go to hit submit, you will get a confirmation when you submit it. This is not in Google Classroom either. I'm not talking about that. When you go to take the quiz in Google Forms, when you hit submit, if you haven't answered all the questions, it will not let you submit because you have to answer each question.
Yeah.
And when you hit submit, it'll say your stuff has been submitted. You'll get a confirmation email. If you don't get that, then that means it didn't go through. It is your job to double check and make sure that your stuff is getting submitted. We will try our best, depending on how I'm feeling Sunday nights. I often, because now I figured out how to do it on my phone. I figured out how to do it last semester and the semester before, but I've gotten really good at it this semester, where I can just import data on my phone while I'm on the couch in between TikTok videos, like super easy. So I will try, as I'm like on Sunday, just go through periodically and start importing grades. And then that way, if I'm up and it's 11 p.m. and I see that there's students who have no grade that was imported because it auto grades, then I might be like, hey, what happened with this quiz? Like if you run into trouble with the quiz, because I don't know, there's lots of reasons. I really honestly just don't even want to go into it. If you run into any sort of issue that prevents you from submitting the quiz, you need to leave a comment, not on the assignment that the whole damn class can see,
Yeah,
but in
exactly.
your individual assignment area,
Yeah.
because we can't respond to you for the whole class to see, because it could be like a FERPA thing depending on what's going on. Like, so we take FERPA very seriously. We've communicated that with you a couple times. So in that assignment for the quiz version that you get, just leave a comment and tell us what's going on. Send us an email. If I'm asleep because I decide that I need sleep rather than staying up until midnight, knowing damn well I have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, then I will have it time stamped. Jason will have it time stamped, and it will communicate to us what your situation was so we can work with you. Okay. But you need to make sure that you plan for Bethel Internet to not be working well.
What?
It's not working well for us, and I'm hooked up on the LAN right
Yeah.
now.
I was gonna say, I think this happens a lot that students see that due date of Sunday night at 11 and think that that means they're supposed to do it Sunday
Nope.
night. Like that is when you are supposed to sit down and do it. You can you can take that quiz anytime from the moment it opens today on Thursday until then. So I've had students who either struggled to get the quiz in on time or missed one who would then say it would say things like, well, the problem is Sunday nights are not a good time for me. And I'm like, okay, well then take it on Saturday. And then the student was like, but I thought that it was due on Sunday. No, you have all that time in between today at noon and 10 or 11 o'clock on Sunday night. So any of that time you can use. Don't.
So, like a lot of you, several of you have noted in your tech surveys that you guys work and you
Mhm.
don't get off until such and such time. Like, keep in mind of your work schedule. We make it to where it's open ended to try and be as accommodating to most people's life situations as possible. People with brand new babies, like, yeah, we're not expecting you to stay up when sleep is, a limited resource that you get. And you could be a dog parent or a cat parent or a bird parent, whatever, and you have things going on. We try and make it to where it's easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Yeah. And again, everybody gets one mulligan. So, but it might be best not to waste that on the very first quiz, but everybody gets one. A mulligan in this case, meaning you just had a complete and utter brain fart and forgot it. We'll reach
That's
out to you and be
Yep.
like, hey, this is your mulligan. Take this now. Don't wait. Take it now. Get it done. But then you don't have that opportunity again. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. That's just another thing I wanted to
And we dropped the lowest quiz too. So if you feel like you kicked this quiz's ass and then you get the quiz back and you're like, no, it kicked mine. Keep in mind that's not the end of the world.
Mhm.
I am not dismissing your test anxiety or grade anxiety or anything like that. But just keep in mind, we only take the best out of 8. So the best 7 out of 8. So it's all right if this first one's like mid. All right.
Yeah.
But make
And
sure you get that done.
I was going to say, and Google Classroom, because it's going to be the first actual grade that gets put in. It's going to look like it's absolutely devastating to your grade. Please ignore that. It's because it's the only thing that Google Classroom has to calculate. And so it's giving it 100% of the weight of your grade. And one little quiz is whatever. Wow. I don't even know if I want to do the math. It's a very small fraction of your grade in the class, right? Whatever.
It's 1/7 of the 200 points,
Yes, exactly.
which is
200 out of 1,000.
200 out of 1,000.
Yeah.
So it's the tic tac of the
Yeah.
candy smorgasbord.
But
While we're
Google
on this
Classroom will make it
subject,
look. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say we have to report grades and students for the 3-week reporting period. Normally Jason and I are not narcs. We don't snitch on students. But this is one that we have to technically do.
Yeah.
So if we've been having issues with you like not doing assignments, like we're going to submit you for the at risk Like we have to put everyone's grade in for the first 3 weeks, which makes sense because we're having our first actual grade in the class. It's all been extra credit
Yeah.
up until this point, minus the creative project contract. So we have to do that Monday. It's going to be based solely on, did you do the creative project contract and did you do okay on the quiz?
Yeah.
So if you get turned in for at risk, it's because you scored below a passing grade
Yeah.
thus far on the work. A passing grade, you just need a D for degree in this class.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're below a D, then we're going to put you at risk, not because we think there's anything wrong with you. We are not questioning your intelligence or your capability or any of those things. It's just based on the 2 actual graded assignments.
Yeah.
And that's it. And if your coach gets onto it, and we make it a point to say this is based on just these 2 small things. We don't say you need tutoring or anything like that. We just have to put students on the at risk if they're below passing for this first 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Please don't get angry with us. We know it's silly, but it's some kind of law associated with like federal financial aid that we have to do it for the first 3-week period.
Yeah, that's I kind of wish the first reporting was after like a month as opposed to 3 weeks, because this isn't the only class that I have that no one's turned in anything just yet. Or if they have turned in, they've turned in one thing. And it's like, I hate to base how you're doing on that, but it's what we have to. That's the point that's being made.
That's all I've got, man.
I think that is all I have as well.
Well, let's do it. Let's get out of here.
Right.
I'm just gonna play this song. I've always liked the song, and apparently it's become a la mode on TikTok all of a sudden. So I just need you all to know in my hipster voice, I was into shit before it became mainstream.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I should have played it later, but it's the buildup that's so good.
And that's what gets used on TikTok anyway.
It's only like a 40 minutes or a 40-second song, you know? Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.